Yo, what is up guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video and welcome to week number 4 of my 700 gear score series where I try to get 700 gear score in under 110 days in the EU server. In last week's video, we had 285 AP and 325 DP with an order on a dual Fallen God armor for 31 bill. And in this week's progress video, we managed to get up to 370 DP with no AP gain at all. And large in part because we got that dual Fallen God order and we got enough money to buy a Pry Labresca's helmet. We also got a Pen Cloud earring that they gave away for basically an event, as well as C13 on the Gyfin and C3 on the Beg's gloves. So this week's video is going to take you through absolutely everything that I did in order to earn this money and show you step by step how you can do it and repeat it and essentially have the exact same result. So the first thing that I did for the week was I remembered that I need to get this Buster up to Tet because in an endgame build for Succession, you do want to run a Tri-Dandelion with Capris level 19 for the extra 12 accuracy. It's quite a cheap alternative to getting a Pen Dandy, which can cost upwards of 100 plus billion silver to get that much accuracy. After that, we transport back in time to the start of the week last Wednesday, where we still have not gotten our Fallen God armor. So right now, this footage is when I had the order. And so therefore, my DP was still quite low to be going anywhere else. So I didn't really feel super comfortable in switching up grind spots. However, later in the week, we do pretty much no Sakraya whatsoever. Sakraya was just sort of a means to wait until our Fallen God actually filled. And of course, made sure that we did our Jatina every day. We're about 17 days away now from getting our Crescent up to Pen, which is going to be a nice 3 AP gain. I already have all the materials ready for that, so we'll be able to do that right away when that happens. But basically, while we waited for the order to fill, we just kind of went and did a little bit of Sakraya, collected some red shards, collected some tongue grads. Unfortunately, Sakraya is now not a very good money spot. The Tungrad rings have sort of crashed in price, so now we've moved on to Abandoned Monastery. Abandoned Monastery is really, really good. Dawns are still 342 million silver each, and you usually get them at a rate of about 2 per hour here. And so far, this seems to be some of the best money that I can possibly get in the game at this particular gear score. But it is a duo spot, so when you can't find a duo, I went back to Sakraya to do a little bit more solo farming. After that couple of hours of Sakraya, I was contacted to do the dungeon, and so therefore I went with a nice team that we did the Elvia dungeon for the first two, and then we did the normal dungeon for the last one. I do highly, highly recommend the dungeon. The dungeon is a super cool experience, and once you know what you're doing, it's really not that bad. Even with 325 DP, I was still able to do Elvia 1 and 2, and then the normal of number 3. But now that my DP is a bit higher, hopefully we can do Elvia on the number 3. That's my goal for the future. We ended up getting some really good rewards out of the dungeon. We ended up getting a bit RNG carried, so in addition to the guaranteed memory fragments and the guaranteed gold bars, we also ended up with a Tri-Basilisk belt, a Pry Ogre ring, and we ended up getting, I think, a base of another accessory. But this is when I was doing a little bit more Sakraya after the dungeon, and we ended up getting the order for the Fallen God. We got it at Duo, and it ended up costing us 31.8 billion, 31.9 maybe. So just a little under 32 bill, and that boosted our DP up to the 346 DP bracket, which is really nice because that's where brackets start kind of falling off, is right around 341, because that's when you get 20% all damage reduction. So we did a little bit more of our grind just to finish off our tent buff that we had running, and we ended up getting some good red shards and tongue grads. And then we went on to the new piece of content, and something that I'm really happy to be at because this place is really, really good to burn Agris at, and that is Upper Gyfins. Upper Gyfins does not require an incredible amount of DP, but you definitely want at least 285 AP in order to get a party. That's pretty going to be the hardest part, is getting a party. But the spot is great with Agris. I end up making about 800 to 850 million silver per hour with my 100% Agris bonus. I later on do get the 150% Agris bonus, which means that this spot can go up to around $1 bill an hour just in Agris with Yellow Loot Scroll. So it's really, really nice. We ended up doing our Jatina daily, and we ended up pumping up our Gyfin up to level 12, and large in part to the Capris stones that come from Gyfin. But outside of our Agris points, which once we were done using up, we spent a lot of time at Orcs this week. We had 18 Agris coins that we needed to use at Orcs, and that means that I could make up to over 1 billion silver every single hour of every single Agris coin. So if you're wondering how I made so much progress this week, it's large in part to the 1 billion silver per hour that I was able to make here at Orcs with the Agris coin. I get about 30,000 or 35,000 trash per hour here, and it ends up being really, really good. This was the very first hour I did, and I managed to get up to 35k. When I do stream this, I usually get about 33k, but 33 to 36 is like the best that I could possibly do here at Orcs. Another major thing that's pretty important about Orcs is making sure that if you do have a little bit of Agris, use your Agris whenever there is an org that spawns. So sometimes there's like this boss monster that spawns, and essentially what you can do is you can turn on your Agris for just that kill. So you turn it on like that, you get your org, you kill your org, and then it's a big influx of trash all in one kill, and then you make sure to turn off your Agris. But we ended up finishing our few hours of Orcs, and we ended up cashing out on our trash loot, and we always sell our Seeds of the Void, and we always sell our Flames as well. So all in all, it was about 800 million silver in just raw silver that we normally get, and then the rest of the stuff like the shards and whatever, we're actually planning on saving for the future when we use it for cups. Another thing to get shards is making sure that you are getting your Marnie stones. So these Marnie stones are relatively cheap. I'm filling them up at a rate of about 4 per hour, you know, 3.5, 4 an hour type of thing. So make sure that you are grabbing Marnie stones if you do decide to come to Orc Camp. They are definitely worth the money. I also have plans to go to Bloody Monastery a little bit later. That's why I'm buying these, but I didn't end up going there this week. Potentially is something that I will do in the future. But after I got the Marnie stones, I kind of went back over and, of course, did my little Agris trick here while killing the orgs, and pretty much just tried my best to use all 18 of the Agris coins that I had. And we were using a yellow loot scroll this entire time. One thing that was pretty surprising is that there was a lot of duels at Orcs. Orcs is a very, very busy spot. It's actually no surprise at this point why so many people were saying, isn't Orcs the best money in the game? Why are you in Sakraya? I thought Orcs was the best. I now understand why. There's just so many people that go to Orcs that everyone just assumes that it's the best spot. And quite frankly, it is now, I think, the best spot because Tungrad rings have dipped so much in price. You've also got frenzy drafts that have dipped quite a bit in price. And so I do think that Orcs, even on a blue loot scroll, is like 6 mil an hour more than that of Sakraya. But because of all the duels and stuff that happen and the contestedness of the spot, I actually think I still prefer Sakraya. And I also don't think that I really have enough accuracy for Orcs with my current build. So right now here, we are just grabbing our Layla's petals that we've been farming up over the last 3 weeks. Layla's petals are a really good random source of income. You trade them in for the different little butterflies, and then you can turn those into sweet honey wine. And sweet honey wine is saleable on the market, and so it's a nice little boost in cash. It doesn't take too long to do. I recommend that every time you get a few hundred, or maybe if you're trying to really squeeze out some pennies to try to make your next purchase, it's a really good way to check and make sure whether or not you have a few hundred mil lying around. For me personally, I ended up making, I think, 300 and something of them, and so therefore I was able to, you know, squeeze out some extra bit of silver, which was really, really nice and quite motivating. After that, I had enough of the Hearts of Arid Forest in order to make the cup for my necklace, so I ended up getting a little bit of an HP gain right there, so that was nice. Those do not really sell otherwise. And then I went and did a little bit more upper Gyfins, and I had some more Agris to run, so I only am really doing upper Gyfins with Agris, and also there is the event, the alternative drop spot event for the compass pieces, so if I happen to get the Elton, that would be amazing, but, you know, I'm mostly here for the money, which now, you know, at this point in this party, I'm making like 800 mil, 850 mil an hour. I also, after that, after I was done with my Agris, I went over and did some more hours of Orcs, sold that, and got a nice 3 billion silver just in raw silver. Get another 500 mil in those, and then 4 bill. That was basically me for 4 hours at Orcs. Then after that, we made sure to do our Jatina daily, and yeah, we're getting pretty close on that one, but From there, some more orcs. We still have those Agris coins to fill, and we're still making really, really good money. This was another couple of hours. And then, of course, turn in our Jatina daily. Once we were done with that, we went back to orcs. Surprise, surprise. There's going to be a lot of orcs content that we're planning on doing in the future. At least for money, it seems to be one of the best spots, but I also want to get those Furious Shards. I think I have 300 and something of them right now, and I do want to finish off 400 before I do go to Bloody Monastery. That's mostly for the future. That's not really something that I'm doing in this challenge necessarily. You know, the cups are something that'll come a little bit later, but, you know, eventually I'm going to want to cup everything. So, another couple of hours of orcs done. Go ahead, sell that trash, get a lot of silver. The reason I show a lot of these things is because people question, how the heck do you get this much silver? You know, you must be cheating. But I show every single major source of income that I'm doing. All of these drops that you see happening, this is how I earn the silver. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can see video evidence right here of, you know, those 3 drops in those 30-second clips. And then I also got a Pride Dawn as well, which was super, super nice. That kind of flashed pretty quick. And then I went and I did some Rift bosses, and I got pretty decently lucky on them. I got a Centaur, got an Ogre, I got a Ruins Ring, and then I ended up actually getting a Leighton and another Ruins Ring, and then in our final box, the best box that we have, we got another Ruins Ring. So that was a pretty good burst of money. And then we went ahead, did our little Agris trick over here at the Orgs, and while doing that, we ended up winning our Desperate Libresca helmet. So all the money we had been accumulating from Orcs as well as Bloody Monastery, we ended up getting ourselves a nice Fry Libresca, and that was 29 billion silver, and that was where we got our largest little DP gain here for the week, and we went from 346 up to 364. And then from there, we continued on doing some more Orcs, and continuing to use our remaining Agris coins. We did our Jatina daily, of course, and then from there, we went to do some more Dawns, some more Abandoned Monastery. Abandoned Monastery is really, really solid money. Like, legit 2 Dawns per hour seems to be the average, and I don't think there's a better spot for money at the moment. The unfortunate part about the spot is it is very, very prone to getting your bosses stolen, so it is something that, you know, you're gonna have to deal with every once in a while. I've had 2 of my bosses that were stolen so far. It seems to be pretty common here in EU. I don't know how much, you know, how common it is in North America, but it is something you're gonna have to deal with since it is a server-wide announcement. We ended up making enough money through Dawns where we were able to bring our Gyfin up to level 13, and that allowed us to put on our Duo Capotia ring instead of the Cloud ring, and still maintain the 285 bracket. And then from there, we went to Jatina, and they recently updated this. It allows you to do a little bit of a quest here to exchange your Cloud accessory for another kind. So I exchanged the Cloud accessory for the earring, since I currently have a Tuvala earring. And then from there, the 14 days had gone by where you can now guarantee enhance this up to pen. So we did that, and now it's essentially a Tetnarch earring equivalent, except for the combo damage. And then that boosted our DP up by 4. So now we're reaching pretty much, you know, starting to reach the end of the week. We did a little bit more Gyfins, used up some more Agris here, and that ended up being very good money. And then we went to do our weekly at Rhoneros, and we ended up getting the raw drop for Ancients Ron's Tintinabulum. So we got super RNG carried at 52 pities. I was doing the weekly quest at this time, so we decided to go ahead and combine the thing, and now we officially have the tier 3 version of the pot officially completed, so we don't need to worry about going back and doing any more Rhoneros, which is super, super nice because that spot is just not good money. From there, we ended up going to Marandora, and we got our Herald of Dawn title. Unfortunately, even though I got 3 of the, you know, raw drops, I still only get the Herald of Dawn title. That's kind of like the bluish gray color. So I didn't get the gold one, but oh well, it is just a cosmetic. And then we also turned in our Jatina daily. And from there, we ended up doing the part 1 of the Agris journal. Now, I should have done this a long time ago. I didn't really realize how easy it was, and I really was unprepared. You do need 10 Fruits of Enchantment, so I should have put orders on that earlier, but it's a really easy journal to complete, and it basically boosts up your Agris efficiency by 50%. So instead of 30k trash an hour like I was getting at Upper Gyfin, my teammates were all getting like 36, 37k. All you really have to do is turn in those few things, go to a couple like designated locations like this, and then from there you basically just go to Eden and you talk to him and he gives you the bonus 50%. So quite frankly, I should have done it earlier, but I didn't really realize that I could do only the first journal. I was thinking more so about the second journal that's super cumbersome, which I don't plan to do. After that, we basically just took advantage of the Ninetail Fox event. It gave us some random little stuff where you enhance this fox and you can get some memory fragments and stuff. None of it is particularly that incredible. A lot of it is, 77 stack, 44 stack stuff like just for enhancing. But I did take any of the things that were worth money, which was mostly the memory fragments. And then I had some stuff left over, so I took a few cosmetics and some storage slots. But that is essentially everything that we did this week. So we're up to 655 gear score. It feels pretty good. We made a lot of DP gains. Next week, I'm hoping to make some AP gains. But that is pretty much it for the entirety of what I did in this last week. I hope that you guys really enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe. We are on our way to 20,000 subscribers. We're almost at 18K. So if you guys have not yet subscribed, make sure to do so if you've been enjoying the series. I'll have another video for you guys next week to show you the progress. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you guys all in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.